would have been.
Where did you dig up that old fossil?
Going into Toshi Station to pick up some power converters.
That's no moon.
We're all fine here now, thank you. How are you?
Welcome to the Star Wars Nerds Podcast. I'm Dan Dadabonker.
And I'm Kenton Larson.
Kenton, we have another 3 episodes of Andor, another Andor movie, basically, to watch this week. And I have to say, I'm a little confused as to the strategy, as to this release strategy for Disney Plus. I'm not sure why they're doing it this way. Certainly, the story does. I think your prediction proved to be correct. You were right. This is 1 year later, so that's probably why. One of the reasons why. And these 3 episodes are like in the same time period. But I still think they could have done it 1 episode at a time. They didn't need to like group them into 3s like this.
I think so too. I think, like, I'm a Star Wars fan who was confused a lot. As well, you're confused by the release strategy. I was, and I think part of it is an intentional confusion. We're starting a year later. So you see Cyril and you're like, oh, did they break up? Is he an agent? Is he a double agent? Are they double agents? Who is listening to whom, and how, and who is playing along? Who doesn't know that they're being had? Like, so I think some of it is that, and then some of it was just pure, I'm confused. Like, what, like, what's happened in the story since we left off?
Yeah, there's a little bit of that going on. I agree. But I am still, it's still good though. I'm still enjoying the story and I'm still engaged and I care about these characters and all that stuff. So I'm still on board with it. But
oh yeah,
sure. It was an interesting chapter, we'll say, in this series, these 3 episodes. Most of it centers on Ghorman, the planet that we were introduced. This is the planet of the spiders that they weave all these cloths, clothing or whatever, this fabric, this luxury fabric, and it's a big fashion place. And apparently it is the France of the Star Wars universe, Kenton. Did you get that feeling as well?
French resistance was there.
But even the language, the Ghorman language that they speak sounds French. I'm like, is it French?
I thought it was French at first.
I'm like, but the accents sound French. These are the French. Yeah, it's the French resistance. That's what we're seeing here. And so we have Andor gets sent to Ghorman to kind of assess their resistance and find out whether or not it's worth like pursuing. And they and I guess kind of assessing things for what's his name?
For Luthen.
Luthen, right. Yeah, sorry, thank you. So Luthen sends him there to assess things, right? And so he's posing as like a fashion designer. He's got like a nice slicked hair. This is where we see him looking all suave. And he checks in. He's like on vacation, visiting. It's like a pilgrimage. Every designer has to go. It's like every designer has to go to Paris, right? Every designer has to go to Ghorman to experience it. What's so funny?
I didn't buy him as a fashion maven whatsoever.
Yeah.
And really Luthen's the guy for that job.
You're right. He's much better at that.
Yeah. He's very good at it. Whereas Andor seemed like Andor pretending to be a guy in a fancy coat. Or whatever. And I also have to point out that it almost seemed a little Monty Python-esque at times. The what are the French doing in England? There's a bit of that, I thought.
Yeah, that's true. And the thing about Andor is he can't even hold his cover for very long. Like he just, as soon as he gets in there and he has a first interaction with these people, within minutes he's like, "What the hell are you guys doing?" Like he's just calling them out for their shitty behavior and they're amateurs. They're like they have no idea what they're doing. They're risking everything by saying something, trying to force him to do whatever they were trying to get him to do. So he's just got a bad attitude about the whole thing. You know, like, do you think, oh, and by the way, we forgot the whole talk about, we also see he's living with Bix on Coruscant, right? They're kind of staying in a safe house, like this apartment. Bix is very, very traumatized by her torture at the hands of, what's the name of the doctor again? Dr. Gorst or something like that?
I don't remember that guy's name, but.
The evil doctor, torture doctor?
Yeah.
So she's having nightmares and she's like having waking nightmares. She's walking around pointing blasters at things and not having a good time. And so this is when Luthen decides to send Andor away on this mission. And then Luthen comes to her. What was that all about?
Oh yeah, that was interesting too. Well, that's the thing. That's part, like, once again, that's part of the confusion, I think, that we're sort of plunged into being a year later.
Right.
I think like, we don't know what the full motive was. We know Luthen can have people killed, though, if he thinks that there's loose ends. Like there's things like that floating around at the same
True.
time. And it also occurred to me watching this that, okay, Luthen doesn't trust Andor. Andor doesn't trust Luthen. And then probably Luthen will die at the hand of Andor, I was thinking. That would be a horrible, tragic end to all of this. But yet, it almost seems inevitable after this episode. I also want to just point out that I was very confused by, there's 2 Ghorman massacres, not one. They're talking like we are going to see the Ghorman massacre next week, the uprising that the Empire wants to crush. And they kept going, well, it's like the massacre, Tarkin's massacre, or whatever they were talking about. And I was like, well, the Ghorman massacre was off screen? Is that what happened? And I was like, no, that was another one. That was a different one.
Wait. Have we heard about the Ghorman massacre before?
Yes, we've in other Star Wars tales.
Okay.
Heard about it, and I can't remember. Maybe I'm going to say the wrong thing. Clone Wars, Rebels, something
like that. Well, that's where a lot of this stuff comes from, right? That's fine. So this is a callback to something they've referenced. So you're thinking, and you thought that
I thought it was off screen.
Well, but no. What you just told me is that you thought you were going to show it to us next week. Like the Ghorman massacre that's been referred to is the thing that's going to happen next week. But then,
I do believe that to be the case.
But you're also saying that the thing that apparently happened however many years beforehand, 20 years, maybe.
With Tarkin
landed his ship on a bunch of people, is what happened.
Right, that's right.
That's the massacre they're talking about. He just basically landed his cruiser and crushed a bunch of people, and killed them. So
these the people of Ghorman are always massacre.
Right. Well, yeah, we'll see. I don't know. I think that maybe next week is not going to be the massacre.
Oh, it will be. It has to be, because if you look at the 3-chapter, we're doing 3, 3, 3. Yeah. And if the last one brings us up to Rogue One, which it will, the next one is going to be a year later, and the uprising will be right where it needs to be when everything goes haywire.
And then they can move in and do their gouge mining.
Right, and we'll have Cyril watching with horror, probably, on the basis of what we saw this week.
What do you think? What does Cyril think he's doing in all this?
And we don't know how much here's more confusion. We don't know what he knows. What does Deidre know that he doesn't know?
But there's a conversation between Deidre and her commander. I can't remember his name. But they're throwing the names out a lot more, I noticed, this season. Like the name, I'm gonna pick up on that guy's name, I think probably next episode, because they're just saying it so much. Anyway, they say that he can never know the true meaning of this, which is to get the mineral. Like the whole point of this is to get the precious minerals from Ghorman. But Cyril doesn't know that. He thinks he's like basically helping them get to the rebels and destroy the rebels by being undercover, right?
Right.
So he thinks he's like doing this to earn their trust. He's helping them with this robbery that they're doing, this whole thing they have planned to earn their trust, so that later they can storm in there with the stormtroopers and take them all out.
Right. I think that's what he thinks. And when he sees what the reality is, I think then he will learn that Deidre is involved in it. Like, I think all of that stuff, and we know in the trailer that's what appears to be going on.
Yeah.
As well. So I think I think that's where this is headed. And at first it was just confusing because we didn't know how much he knew or what he was doing. And I do think that this will have the effect. It will drive the two of them apart, I think. We also learned that in the first episode that Cecil's mother watches Fox News.
I was gonna call it the Kathy Lee and Hoda, or whatever her name is. That's what that seemed to be.
It was The Voice.
It was the morning show. It was The View. It's
not The Voice, The View. Yeah,
the Star Wars View is what that is. But yes, that was hilarious. But the other thing we forgot to talk about, and I think we forgot to mention this last week, is Saw Gerrera is in this, and of course we have Forrest Whitaker back as Saw Gerrera. Now this is the younger Saw, so he doesn't have his like breathing apparatus yet, but we do find out why he needs it, because he's addicted to this, like whatever this is, this stuff. It's like a fuel. Funny. Is it what this is?
Yeah, he's insane from the word go. And talk about an over the top performance.
Oh, he's having so much fun.
It's and it's funny. And if anything, my obsession after watching this episode is Saw Gerrera, because he's funny to imitate. He's funny. He's like, no, you've got to breathe it in. Like you establish that these fumes will burn you from the inside out. And so he encourages the young guy to take off his mask and inhale, which the guy does, which is funny. So I guess that's how you join Saw Gerrera's club, is you just inhale these fumes and you slowly lose your mind. Because he's like, what's going to happen anyway? We're all going to die anyway. So what the hell? You might as well just. How do you think this is going to end? Yeah.
But this guy, this Willman is his name. He is sent there, like he's not even supposed to be there. He's only supposed to be there to show them how to use this device that allows them to pick the lock, is what happens, right? That's kind of weird.
to get the fuel out of the pipeline.
Right.
You need to do this right, or it'll kill you if you do it wrong, or or whatever.
It's a special combination lock that they have, so only Imperial fighters or whatever can refuel there.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's just they have this thing. So but it's very elaborate, and there's all these different combinations for all these different stations. And Saw is so paranoid he doesn't tell anybody where they're going to hit. And to the point where like he spends all this time training this guy, right? He's training this guy on all these combinations. This guy's like, they have a conversation where they think we're gonna kill the kid because we don't need him anymore. I know the combinations. Tell me one that I can focus on. So he does, but then he does that to like, and did we again something happened off screen that we didn't see where I guess that was a betrayal. How did we find that out again?
He said we found a tracker. After they kill him, they go, we found this tracker on him,
right,
or whatever. And it's like, well, like that's a weird order.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. Maybe you should
had
find the tracker first and then kill him, right?
Maybe he had an explanation, or maybe it wasn't even on him.
Right.
Like that occurred to me too. Like, I don't know. This guy's nuts.
Yeah, he is.
Like
very much so.
He just So I don't. Who knows what that was all about? That was confusing. Once again, everything's so confusing. I don't know how a non-Star Wars fan would watch this. Actually, being a Star Wars fan, I think made it more confusing.
I thought so. There were some elements of this that felt very Cloak and Dagger and very kind of spy-ish. Like the whole thing, like again, it is the French Resistance we're seeing here. The whole Ghorman thing is like a wartime drama. So I did feel engaged in that. And
very
it's not Star Wars because there's no lightsabers around here. I find it ironic that the Disney Plus logo shows a lightsaber. Have you noticed that lately? Because they're promoting Star Wars, yet there are no lightsabers to be seen in Andor.
Well, I remember I spent a whole season saying Luthen is a Jedi.
Right.
I totally forgot about it until this week. And I went, probably not. There really isn't enough time to unveil that as a plot device. Well, then again, it wouldn't take a long time, but probably is not.
No, he's too worried about his bugging device on the piece of art. So they have to go to, that was mostly in the third episode.
Yeah.
I guess that was released this week. So they go to, it's a party. That was awesome. Oh, okay. That reminds me of the other thing. So this is again another fascinating part of their culture is they have all these parties. It's like the inaugural balls, I guess. What is the holiday they call it? It's like a bank holiday or something. What is the holiday?
Yeah,
it's a weird holiday they're
now
celebrating. But basically everyone throws a party is what happens, and you have to show up at everybody's party, and like there's social obligations to be at all these parties, right? Like it's a really intricate kind of thing that they do here, going to everybody's parties. And so they have to go to the guy's party, the bad guy, the guy whose son married their daughter, right? This is Mon Mothma and Day of Days. And they're kind of complaining about it. But what happened with what is Benjamin Bratt supposed to be?
Smits. Brad is Smits.
Why?
It's disappointing. But they said it was a scheduling conflict, and I mean, Jimmy Smits has played that role in 6 different things at this point.
Right.
So I assume that given the non-schedule conflict that he would have been there. But we also know that Smits says yes to everything. So it's amazing to me that they couldn't figure that out, that they couldn't get him there. But yeah, so it's a little, I like Benjamin Bratt, but I mean, why are we making him Jimmy Smits? I think he could have been another character.
Well,
Like,
yeah, exactly. Why is that Bail Organa? Why does it have to be Bail Organa in that moment? Right? It kind of negates the purpose of it without Jimmy Smits.
they could talk about Bail Organa without us seeing him. We could know that he's a big player in this without having to see what he's up to.
Yeah.
He could be on a mission for crying out loud, or like
It
there
was
could be
very,
anything.
I'm ashamed to admit that I didn't notice right away. I didn't pick up on it because
Because it
it's
was
like Benjamin
weird.
Bratt is so good and he's
Yeah.
so natural and he kind
Yeah.
of falls into the role and he is a good Bail Organa. Really, he's like, I'm out of here. He's like just like you would assume Bail would be like that. But man, after a minute, I'm like, what? Wait a minute, that's weird. It's just weird that you're right that they couldn't make it work. Like these days, couldn't they shoot him on a green screen and insert him digitally? Like really, they could have done something.
It just seems like a very, and I know Jimmy Smits is a busy guy. He's in everything, but it's always seemed to work in the past. But remember, there was a writers and actors strike.
There's also I also heard a story today about how they offered Jeremy Renner half
Oh yeah,
half of what they offered him. Like
Yeah.
this is Disney offering half of his salary for Hawkeye season 2, and he's like,
I
no,
saw that. And he said, "What? I got run over. He got run over by that."
by a snowmobile plow, and he's like, do you think I'm
Yeah.
half a man now because I got
Right.
run over? No. And he's like I wasn't even asking for more, just pay me the same as you paid me for the first season. And and the speculation as to the reason for that is because his role would have been greatly reduced. It wasn't going to be a story about him. It would have been about Haley, whatever, the girl.
Yeah, but that would have been a horrible story. So
Well,
good.
regardless, you got to pay him. You can't just cut his fee.
Yeah.
Like it still takes
No.
up. He's like, it takes up 8 months of my life to do
Yeah.
this. So it's like it's something. And so maybe maybe they didn't offer Jimmy Smits enough money. Maybe it was that.
I wonder. I
Right.
wonder if there's a bigger story here. But I mean, he's been in everything. He's been in every Star Wars that they've asked him to show
Right,
up.
which if they offered him less, he would have been more pissed off. Like, come on, that's an insult. Like
Maybe-
Jeremy Renner was pissed off. He's like, that is like
Yeah.
insulting to do that, to offer somebody half.
Jeremy Renner just came out and said it. So it would be good if Jimmy Smits just confirmed one way or another.
Yeah.
Because
That's
it's-
not the first thing I've heard. I've heard of other, I think someone else said that as well. It was like the person who was one of it was Carrie Coon. Carrie Coon?
Oh yeah.
She was one of the CGI minions. I didn't even know it was her in Endgame or in Avengers Infinity War. She was one of the 2 CGI cronies who show up at the beginning with that other guy.
Okay.
And their little spinny spaceship.
Yeah.
But you don't recognize her as CGI, and they offered her. They didn't offer her any money at all to come and reprise the role. Just come and do it for free, basically, because she should be honored to be a part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe,
Get me
something like
free.
that. And she's like, "No, I'm not going to do that." So
Yeah. Who knows? I mean, there was when they shot Andor, we know that there was a writer's strike, and a actor strike, and who knows what else was happening. So that might account for it all by itself. Plus,
does that mean it's always got to be Benjamin Bratt now? Anytime they want to come back to Bail Organa?
I doubt it. I think they'd go back to Smits again. We'll see. Let's see what's.
I just think that this feels like a permanent change. I think they're gonna go back to Brett. I think that I think something more here. Feels like there's something more here. It's weird that they couldn't make it work.
Yeah.
And I think you're right. I think there's something more to this. Anyway, we'll figure it out. But
I think Tony Gilroy this week said that he knew that it's gonna be surprising to Star Wars fans. So they did that cameo in this episode. So when you see him later, it's not the big deal then.
oh, is he more? Is
Apparently.
he in a couple episodes coming up? Okay.
I think that's the story. I think the story is let's get this. It's a new guy over with this week. And then next week, when everybody sees him, we've already had that conversation.
Yeah.
I think so. Oh, well, that's probably the way to do it if you have to do it. And I guess I don't know. The CGI can work and it can be horrible. So who knows? But I like Benjamin Bratt for what it's worth. He's probably a good replacement if he has to be replaced. But
for a minute there, I was like, did Jimmy Smits die?
I know.
Wondering about it. I was like, did he die? And I forgot. Something
I
like
thought
that.
the same thing. I was like, what?
Anyway, so they have to go to this party.
Was that Jimmy Smith? There's that one too. Was that him? Maybe it was.
They're going to the party, and Luthen is there with his assistant. They're going to get that listing device, which is like, how did they get it on this piece? They must have like put it on in the shop before they delivered the
Yeah.
piece, and they never thought about how they're going to get it off. Like, what were they? I don't know what they were thinking. They just going to keep it there forever.
I think they've sort of shown us that they have so many listening devices everywhere. Like it's all like they don't remember where they are.
And I think Luther was
so many.
complaining about that at some point. He's like, "Why? This was not even worth it. Like, we didn't even get anything off of this device. So what the hell was the point of all this? Like, we're just doing too much." Right. So, and he's got a point. So, but they've got to get in there because basically this guy, he found a forgery in his collection. He's all pissed off. So he wants all the pieces checked after the party. Of course, we've got to have a deadline. So after the party, so we have to get this thing out of here at the party. There's no other choice. And she also, it's funny how she enlists the aid. And I totally forgot this guy was a mole.
Yeah.
Well, they kind of reminded of us. I think they reminded of us in the recap. But
no, but they also they had the scene where he comes down on the elevator.
Right. There was one scene last. Yeah, that's right. So then this guy and so she enlists his help to block the view while she like struggles with this thing that's jammed up inside this piece of art, which was hilarious. So that was kind of a funny scene. And meanwhile, we have Krennic's there the whole time, right? And he's awesome. He's like Ben Mendelsohn is such a good actor. And he's basically sparring with Mon Mothma the whole time. They're just like having an argument about the freedoms and the Empire and what's happening. And I thought it was a really good scene.
Yeah. I thought it was a good scene too. And once again, stressful TV viewing is what Andor is all about. It stresses you right up.
Getting closer every time they move closer. Another RP is talking about this. What about this? What about this? And then they keep close. And then the guy's like freaking out. He's like, we have to go. And she's like trying to get her. She's bleeding. She has her hand doing it. So yeah, that was a stressful situation. But she got the listening device off, so everything's fine. Meanwhile, Andor goes back and he's pissed that Luthen came to talk to Bix without him talking to him about it and not even saying anything on the way back, right? Because he went and picked him up and brought him back from Ghorman. And so he shows up at the shop and like blows the cover and everything is being a jerk. And it's weird. Andor is kind of acting, it seems like he's acting emotionally. And I don't know why he's getting so emotional about all this. What do you think that's all about?
Because he doesn't want to be double-crossed like everybody else is being double-crossed.
He kind of, I think he's feeling, and it's something I can identify with. Like he's trying to show, like he goes to Ghorman, he's like, they're all amateurs, they don't know what they're doing. This is stupid. I'm out of here, and he doesn't even bother like trying to help. Yeah. He leaves. So then, what does Luthen do? He sends in what's her face to go help them with their thing. Like he's like, no, they have to do this. We have to get these guys going. And so they're like not helping them isn't an option. So he sends in somebody else to go help. So then she goes to help them with their robbery / attack or whatever they're doing. And so then Andor goes back and gets pissed at him. And so then he's just going to go off on his own. Like him and Bix kind of have a conversation about things. And they end up going and taking out Dr. Gorsuch. Can't remember his name.
Yeah, they give him a taste of his own medicine.
Basically, yeah, they put that his what's it called, Oculus Rift on his head, and make him listen to the screams of the children of the beings that were tortured. Whatever that was, that was so dark. Whatever that thing is used.
Yeah, so she got him back, but prior to this, and in the very first episode, she's gone to visit Elon Sleazebagano for her death sticks, right? And so I don't know, like, if they go, okay, she got revenge, and so now she's well again, or will she continue down the path? Like,
the argument between Andor and Luthen was, and Luthen's not being like, Andor's calling him out because Luthen doesn't want Andor attached. I think is what he wants him to be able to go out and do what he wants, and maybe Andor's pissed because he had to leave Bix. Maybe that's why he was so emotional and so pissy in Ghorman, because he was like, I don't want to have to leave Bix alone because she's going through all this and she's having a hard time. But Luthen's making him go. But Luthen, Luthen's saying he wants Bix to get better, but he doesn't really mean that. Luthen really doesn't care about anybody. I think at this point, he only cares about overthrowing the Empire, and he'll do anything to make that happen. And so I think at the end there, when this whole thing about them, they go in there, they torture Dr. Gorst, and then they blow up the place. You see them just walk away, and then and he's really good at that, by the way. The whole walk away blowing up thing. Andor has done that a few times, I think, and he's just can do that. But I think that's about like just trying to help Bix work through her trauma. Like Andor's like, hey, this is like, I'm not gonna wait for Luthen to tell me what to do. I'm just gonna figure this out. We're gonna go we're gonna do whatever we need to do against the Empire to help us process our trauma, basically.
Right.
Right. That's what they're doing here. So and you know, it basically kind of shows how disorganized all this is and how like kind of it's really all hanging together by a thread, and it could all come crashing apart. Like Saw Gerrera's off doing crazy shit. Like, how is this all going to come together in a successful rebel alliance, right? I think that's why they call it a rebel alliance, because at some point they all come together and get organized, and we're not seeing that yet.
Yeah.
That's not Luthen. Luthen is not, and so Mon Mothma, I think, is the person who does that, and that's what we're going to see her come and do in the next few episodes. I think that's what has to happen in the next 3 episodes, is that we have to see somehow she's gonna like basically bring all these people together in one room and say, listen, we have to get our shit together. You are all doing all these weird things all off into these separate parts of the galaxy. None of it is working because it's all too little. We have to unify and coordinate, and then once that happens, then we get into the main Star Wars saga of the original films.
These 3 episodes were as stressful as Star Wars has ever been. I think just everything was stressful. I actually think I need to watch these ones again, because I think the confusion with the time jump for me was an issue, but I don't think it was for everybody.
It's weird because you were expecting it. You predicted it and you were right.
Well, the time jump, but the like, it was hard to sort of go, this is intentional confusion to move the plot along, and this is just, I'm confused because I don't know.
Well, because of
the
Cyril, it wasn't obvious what was happening with Cyril at the beginning. I think I think you're right. There was a bit of intentional misdirection. I think we were meant to think that she had kicked him out or something at some point at the beginning there.
These are 3 packed episodes. There's no just the deepest Star Wars, adult Star Wars, as we've said.
Yes, and then we have I think the first implied sex in Star Wars. Can I say that? When she's when Deirdre, I can never say her name right. And Cyril get together for 1 hour. They have 1 hour together before she has to go somewhere. He has to go somewhere. Something happens, and so she's like, "Turn off the lights." And so he does, and they're gonna have sex. Of course, they're gonna have sex. That's the first time I've ever heard it feel like it's been implied.
Let me think about that.
Don't think too hard.
Well, C-3PO should have run into the room and interrupted everything.
Right.
It could turn out that's what happens to anybody who tries to have sex.
That's right.
C-3PO comes running in.
I feel like that was their kind of little conjugal visit there. That's what they had to do in that time and it's got to be pitch dark. There's no way Dedru's having sex with the lights on.
No,
kind of person.
But I'm also surprised, if she's not that kind of person, why is she the kind of person who even lets him come back for a minute? Because every time that happens, it presents another chance to be found out.
Yeah, that's right. Like, why?
And it would not take. And are you telling me we've established that Luthen has listening devices everywhere? Like, I think they're all playing with fire. And in Saw Gerrera's case, he's literally playing with fire. He's playing with fumes.
Yeah.
So how this all comes together, I think the next episodes are going to be quite interesting. I think they're going to be brutal, though. Brutal in the war is brutal sense. I just have a bad feeling. I think next week is going to be like a all-out disaster. I think for lots of, I don't know, like, we still have characters who aren't in Rogue One.
But it's okay. But by the time, like, Rogue One only has Andor, right? None of these other characters. So at this point, Andor's kind of breaking away from Luthen.
Yeah.
So how does he? All we really need to know is how he became assigned to go pick up Jyn Erso. Is that what his assignment was? I don't remember now. I haven't seen Rogue One in a while. But he meets with the false Pablo.
Yeah.
And then kills him, and then
that's how it starts.
That's how we meet Cassian Andor. And so that's the point they need to get him to. And so none of this matters, I guess. This is what it means. It's just all it is his experience, right? That's what we're learning about. So they can basically kill all of them off. The only person we ever see after this is Mon Mothma, I think, right? As a character that actually comes back later on. And I guess, I mean, unless we see Darth Vader or somebody else, or Bail Organa. No, because Alderaan gets destroyed in the next movie, right?
Well, no, I think Jimmy Smits is in Rogue One, right?
He is. Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. But like,
Yeah,
how do
so
we
he
react to
is.
that? Yeah.
Yeah,
we
so
have to-
he is right. So he is on Alderaan in A New Hope when it blows up. I
Yeah.
think it's safe to say that he is. And maybe Binks, maybe with Jar Jar Binks at the same time.
I
Oh,
would
by the
love
way,
to see that. Honestly, with all the Ahmed Best, you see him in Celebration. He's really back in it now and embracing it. And people are like, I think everyone feels bad about what happened to him and his whole experience. So I think I would love to see Jar Jar come back in some way in either this or in the present day Mandalorian. Maybe he's still alive. Maybe, right? Maybe he survived somehow.
I was actually thinking during okay, in this week's Andors, we saw Mon Mothma at the Senate. And every single time we see that, I think that is an opportunity for the Emperor, who they mentioned a bunch of times.
Yeah.
And I think you don't really mention him a bunch of times unless you're actually going to see him at some point. So I'm kind of almost expecting to see Ian McDermott show up in this thing. And we know he'll do it. Well, he'll do it for sure. And then Jar Jar Binks is the other one. He could be.
Well, he was a senator, right? Wasn't he a senator?
That's right.
Right. So he could still be there representing. We've also had a reference to Naboo in this.
Yeah.
Somebody was from Naboo, right? In this, I don't remember. It came up at some point. So we had a few references to the prequels.
And you just reminded me. We also saw Saw Gerrera's group was at the same bases that the rebels are at in The Force Awakens, the Republic.
Right.
That's the same set. That's the same or the same place where they shot that.
Oh,
so it's like,
interesting.
yeah, I thought so too. So it's all, so they used his abandoned base, I guess, later on.
All these abandoned bases all over the galaxy, just waiting for something to show up.
That's right.
Moving.
That's right. The rebels have to go back to Yavin. There's still lots that needs to happen. And how close we are to the beginning. Like at this point, I do think we'll see Mads Mikkelsen, which means we'll see Jyn Erso. And I do think there's a chance of Emperor and Darth Vader. Now, all of them, probably not. It's going to be like some, or even like the classic long shot where you see like they're way far in the distance.
Oh,
so
I don't think fans would like that. I think we're going to see like something's got to happen. We also have to have the, what's it called? The Mon Calamari have to come into this at some point, like Admiral Akbar and crew. We haven't seen them yet. Like there's whole like fleets of spaceships that show up in this Rebel Alliance that we haven't seen here. So yeah, it's be interesting to see what happens. You get the feeling like Mon Mothma, that scene, she's so frustrated by whatever. The Senate isn't working anymore. It doesn't seem like it's all kind of a meant to represent the American government right now. Basically. It's like, this is what's happening in real life. So but yeah, so she's gonna, I think, at some point have to leave Coruscant, right? And so, do you think at that point is when we're gonna see her husband? We're gonna lose her husband. Do you think ultimately he's gonna lose his life?
It's interesting. They've done more to make him a full character this time. Like last time he was more like
likable now. You get the sense that actually their marriage is okay now. They're in a better place than they were last season.
It's always a year later, so this was his day of days again.
Right. Yes, we're always coming back to him on his days of days.
If it's exactly 1 year later, it's always his day of days. So he's funny. So it's interesting. We don't see him again. So I think she does have to make a decision at some point. Like, and it could just be I'm protecting them decision by not telling them where I am or that kind of thing. Or maybe she'll fake her own death. Maybe like there's a bunch of others.
She's got to disappear from society, right? But to get out there,
she's gonna have to.
Yeah.
She's gonna, and I thought it would have already happened by now.
Yeah,
to tell you the truth. So that's got to happen. I assume we'll see that. Just like I assume we have to see of anybody who's gonna die. For me, it's like Luthen that we're gonna have to see.
Yeah,
and I think to make it truly poetic, I think it'll be at the hands of Andor.
Really?
Something. I just think it has to go that way because they've already set the scene this week where it just seems like they're not fully trusting each other. So I don't know. I think
it's going to be something that he's going to have to sacrifice his life in a way of like that gets back.
Yeah.
It has to have meaning in that it has to like take the Empire down. So it's got something that he dies to create the Rebel Alliance. I think is what's going to happen. So there's some kind of a sequence of events that maybe it's like he's on a ship and Andor has to blow up that ship or something, right? Like he's got such a cool spaceship and a droid that flies it. All that stuff's awesome.
It is.
But maybe he's got to do something in Andor's like, and he'll be like, do it. Go ahead, pull the trigger, blow me up because I have to I have to die right now. And
Yeah.
I can't think of the sequence of events that would be, but that could be what happens. Some kind of
Yeah. Yeah, I think, well, it's fun to try to guess. But I think after next week's episodes, we'll see. Then we'll sort of have a better idea of where we're at. And what we'll lose another character, I'm sure, next week.
Sure, yes, because we did lose somebody. We forgot to mention that we did lose what's her name's kind of girlfriendish, and they were having like some really good moments. They were like healing. Like apparently that person was in an accident and it was hurt, and then Luthen didn't tell the other person. I don't remember anything.
Oh, right, there was an accident that we don't know anything about.
Yes, that's right. There's that
more confusion,
more off-screen stuff. Yeah. So there was that, but they look like they're reconnecting, right? They actually look like they have a moment they're actually going to be like together and happy after all this. And then she's randomly killed by that stupid kid who's got his blaster, and it's just a completely meaningless, tragic death that could have totally been avoided. And then she has that big speech at the end where she's like, "No, you are now responsible for her."
Right.
It was really good. Like all that's again, it shows you how much all this means to these people who are fighting for their freedom, right?
Yeah, and they did get away with a lot of the Empire's ammunition or whatever it was they were stealing there. Was it guns? What were they stealing? I forgot.
I don't know. I'll find out. Maybe next episode is crates, is what it was. Just crate, and they had a great. It kind of reminded me of, I want to say, Beverly Hills Cop 2, when they were robbing. Maybe Beverly Hills Cop 3. No, 2. 2 is the one with they're robbing jewelry stores. And oh no, maybe robbing police stations. And they have this elaborate system where they like go down the vent with like this sled, and it's really fast. So it's kind of the same thing. They were like throwing down this thing, and it conveniently slid down into the drainage whatever thing, and so they can just pop it into their truck and go off. But I like some elements. I like the little bombs they put, like they took out like the hover thing, so like the whole thing just crashes into the pavement. The pavements are cobblestones, just like France. And that, again, it was going well. It seemed to be going well until, and again, this guy was just like, he was a regular guy. Like that guy who was walking by, who the kid stopped, he had been established as like one of the people who was kind of for them, right? Like he wasn't part of the resistance, but he was like one of the people complaining about the Empire in that other scene that they had when they were like all getting together for that meeting. He was there too.
Oh, I missed that. I missed that.
That guy he was a familiar face, and so this kid knew him and said, "No, go back." And this guy's, "What? He's probably drunk or something." But it was like there was no reason for that to happen, right? But that was the point. The point is that people are getting worked up, they're getting emotional, they're they have these dangerous weapons, and people get killed because nobody's thinking.
That actually reminded me, there's a scene in the TV show The Wire where and I won't spoil it for anyone who hasn't seen it. It's been out forever, but there's a character who's shot in a way where maybe you wonder like, oh, this guy's going to go out in a blaze of glory. This is going to happen, or that's going to happen, or the cops are going to get him, or whatever. And who is just like, once again, killed in an extremely random, nothing way to just go like, yeah, like this could happen to anybody in the Star Wars. If everyone's carrying around a blaster, this kind of thing probably happens all the time. Oh, there you go. The Wire. He's got
2 or 3. I've watched 2 and 3. No, I haven't actually.
You got to get the season 1 first.
Well, I've seen season 1. I have watched season 1. Yeah, and I started watching season 2, and I kind of got off of it because it's weird. It's a little bit different.
It is quite different and weird. You're right. But you got to keep plugging. You got to keep going. But you're right. That season's got a bit of a departure.
I found these at the thrift store. These are $6 for the whole season. That's a pretty good deal. So I'll watch them eventually. But yeah, you're right. It is like that. And that's, again, you said this before. That is a level of show that this is. Andor is like the Wire level of television. Like I think, and that's kind of the lead that's being buried here, is that it's Star Wars. It's like everyone's excited about a new Star Wars show, but this is just so good, and it both feels like and does not feel like Star Wars at the same time. It's so interesting how they managed to accomplish that.
It's truly adult Star Wars. HBO Star Wars is the best. It's what I always think of it as, because I do think this is the kind of show that HBO would love to have
if they had the Star Wars license.
Yes, I think they would love to have this show. If there was if Disney was like, nah, we don't want this anymore, I am sure that HBO would be there to pick it up. But I mean, of course,
is this what they're going to do with Harry Potter, Kenton? They've got a Harry Potter show coming out.
I don't know about that one, but we'll see what happens.
That's right. Harry Potter for adults? Oh boy.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody who is a fan of Harry Potter is an adult now. So
that's right. I know. That's exactly how it goes. And so that's right. We're Star Wars fans are of a certain age now. Although, Star Wars has done lots to reboot itself for younger people, and George Lucas was, if anything, that might have been his greatest talent, was the ability to do that. And like Revenge of the Sith is in the theaters right now, and it's like breaking box office records.
Yeah, I
amazing.
find that highly ironic.
It's crazy, isn't it?
It is. Well, it's only because there's nothing else good in theaters right now, honestly, guys. And it's because there are, I guess there's a generation that grew up not able to see that in theaters. So it's like,
Sure.
it's like me when I grew up, I was not able to see the original ones in theaters. So when like the special edition was released, I was excited about that. So I guess it's that kind of thing. But I think in general, like there's not a lot else in the theater right now. So that's why
Right.
it's doing so well. And yeah, but I think what Star Wars reinvents itself with the trilogies is what it's done. It keeps the prequel trilogy is what created all those fans who are now grown up and loved it. I don't think that happened with the sequel trilogy as much. Maybe there's some big fans of Rey and Finn and all that stuff, but I just don't think that's gone out as much, and it's not creating as much Star Wars fans. But this stuff is. I think The Mandalorian and Andor will create new adult Star Wars fans. People who never would have watched Star Wars will watch it now because of this stuff, because it's different, because it's not the same as your typical Star Wars.
Yeah, and I see what Comic-Con was that last year. The Mandalorian panel at Comic-Con was already 2 years ago. I think it was. Yeah, it was.
The one you went to see.
Yes, and what surprised me about that was how packed it was. That the level of fandom was just like was massive, and I think if that carries through into the film next year, The Mandalorian and Grogu, then I think Star Wars is back on track. Really, I mean, Andor, like Skeleton Crew was good.
Yep.
But I was actually thinking while watching this week, if you compare Skeleton Crew to Andor, like two totally different Star Wars experiences.
Right.
Like they couldn't be more different.
But I can't help but still wish that I could see all this in the theater. And that's the other thing is that I wonder, like, what else, do you know what else we have like on the slate for like series coming out? We don't have any other, there's no more Andor, no more Mandalorian, although they might be another season of Mandalorian.
Yeah.
But what other Star Wars series? Is there another Skeleton Crew? Another season of Skeleton Crew?
No, maybe, but I don't think they've announced that. There's some more animation related stuff.
There's the one coming out on May 4th, by the way. That's Sunday, May the 4th. Yeah. There's a new one.
Maul.
Tales from the Underworld or something like that.
Oh, okay. Well, there's a Maul one that I thought. Well,
but it's about the Star Wars, like it's like Tales from the Light Side, Tales from the Dark Side, whatever they did for those two ones. This is Tales from like the criminal element of Star Wars.
Right.
So this is like Jabba the Hutt and Darth Maul and those kinds of people. So because Darth Maul end up being the head of the criminal organization, right? Remember?
Solo,
right?
We'll never get to see the end of that. But
yeah, that's a shame.
Or maybe we will.
That. Yeah. I like that little. Talk about good cameos. That was a good little cameo, I thought, in Solo.
Yeah, that was exciting because it was like we're gonna see this, but then we never did.
No, we never did.
Which is very unfortunate.
I think they're gonna start moving away from the series and more towards films. I think we're going to start seeing that in general from Hollywood. I feel like the streaming boom or streaming bubble has burst, and they're all starting to realize that they're not making any money off of this model. So they have to go back to the way things were a little bit and force people to go see things in the theater first and then put it on the streaming services. I was thinking about this in a way like back video stores used to be, where you could go rent a movie after it was in theaters and you could go see all the movies from all the different studios in one place, right? It was like the theater. It was a recreated experience because it was like, here are all the products being created in this category for you to look and choose from. But now it's like we have a video store for every fucking studio, right? Now we have to go to Netflix and see what's on Netflix. We have to go to Prime and see what's on Prime. We have to go to Crave and see what's on. And when we want to pick a movie, and it takes forever and it's a horrible experience. We need an overall one for everything. And I know that Roku tries to do it, Apple TV tries to do it with their devices, but it doesn't accomplish it, right? It's not the same thing.
It is not.
Yeah.
And there's a good article in the Hollywood Reporter today about ads are worse than they've ever been before. So much like on streaming, particularly advertising on streaming. And so there's an article about that, and people are starting to complain more about it and bitch about it. The leveling up. There's a Black Mirror episode in the new season about that.
Oh, okay.
I'm just gonna leave it there. No spoilers, but about leveling up. Let's call it that. Where, oh, the thing that you were paying for. Okay, well, that's not. Now you got to pay for the next level if you want
Right.
that same experience, like sort of what we've all lived through on this stuff.
I haven't watched the whole new season. What I did is I watched a couple episodes of it, and I realized I hadn't watched Black Mirror since like season 5, I think.
Oh,
like the season with Miley Cyrus, I didn't watch that one because Miley Cyrus was in it, and I thought that was stupid, so I just decided not to watch it, and I have not watched it since. So I've actually gone back and watched some of that stuff.
yeah.
And I actually kind of liked the Miley Cyrus episode. It was pretty good.
Yeah, that's not a bad one. That's not a bad one. But there's Black Mirror in recent years has had highs and lows, and I think even in the current season, when you hit a good one, it's great. There's nothing better. When you hit a bad one, it's like it's like Twilight Zone. There's the occasional one that comes along where you're like, that's not anything. What is this?
Yeah.
And then you see one that blows your mind. So
Yeah.
it's the same kind of thing.
The two I've seen this season have been the one with Aquafina about the movie in the whatever. That was kind of a neat idea. I like that one. And the other one was the one about the it had the Doctor Who guy from Doctor Who, Peter Capaldi.
Oh, Peter Capaldi, yeah.
And he's like this guy who's been programming. What was it? I don't remember what they were called. Those little creatures or whatever in the video game, and then it takes over the world and something like that. It was really good. I like that one too. So those.
He's a good actor. He's a good actor.
Yeah, he was
so like,
excellent.
yes, yeah. He really carries that episode.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you'll see.
Okay, I'll watch it. And I'll get back to you when I
first episode of the new season is about leveling up.
Oh, okay. I must have like skipped it or something. I went right to that when I saw it. Like, you know, when it comes up on Netflix and you see like the preview of it,
Yeah.
it shows you different episodes in Black Mirror.
Yeah.
So it just like it came up and it was the one with Aquafina. I'm like, oh, it's about movies. Let's watch this one. And I just kind of watched it because it was about movies. But yeah, no, it's a pretty good show, I guess.
You can watch Black Mirror in any order. It's just
right,
one of the
that's
things
right.
that's cool about it.
That's right.
Whatever you feel like watching, you can see.
And honestly, I wouldn't mind seeing that. Let's bring this back to Star Wars. I wouldn't mind seeing a show like that for Star Wars. In like not an anime. That's I guess what this whole animated anthology series is about. But I would like to see that in like a real life kind of a situation, live action, tales from the Cantina. Right? Let's like go into Mos Eisley Cantina and spend a couple of weeks in there and learn about some of the people hanging out in that place. That kind of thing would be awesome.
Surprise us in live action with an anthology show that takes us all over the Star Wars timeline. I think that would be a lot of fun because once again, we're still kind of treading. I think after Andor, let me think. No, I think all of the upcoming stuff that I can think of all takes place later on.
Is it all the Mandalorian timeline?
Yeah. Well, not. I think the Ryan Gosling one is going to take place after the latest trilogy, after the J.J. Abrams.
Oh, really?
After Rise of Skywalker, yeah, I think.
Really?
Star Wars Starfighter will be the first one after that.
Oh boy.
So there's some opportunity there, and wasn't like here we are again. James Mangold was going to go way back in time on the Star Wars timeline. Who the hell knows where that is? Rian Johnson, I will never see that trilogy.
No, the Broom Boy trilogy, we'll never see that.
No.
And then the other one was Taika Waititi was supposed to be working on something.
Yes, which they said it again. They said it again.
They did, yeah.
At Celebration. So
Okay.
that was that's still in play, but he's not been on a winning streak of late. Taika, it's been a little rough. That he made the world's worst Thor movie.
That's right, yeah. But I mean, everything's going wrong with Marvel these days. I don't necessarily blame him on that.
Thunderbolts. Are you going to see the Thunderbolts this weekend?
What do you think?
I have zero opinion on the Thunderbolts other than, I mean, it's not exciting to see that trailer, but that doesn't mean it won't be a good movie. I mean, that's the problem. That's what
I'm so cautious now. It like definitely not like there was a time where I would just go see it no matter what. Go see whatever Marvel movie in the theater and not question it. But yeah, I'm kind of questioning it because the last one got such bad reviews. And I know it'll be on Disney Plus in a month. And so really, is it worth and the other thing is I actually have free tickets right now. I have free tickets that I've got as part of my Cine Club, and I still don't know if I want to go see.
I know.
It's like, is it worth leaving the house, going there, doing it?
No,
Like, is it going to be
a time commitment?
I was talking to somebody about this the other day, and I do think we should do a Media Nerds about this. We'll come back to it on a regular basis because it continues to be relevant. But people are saying that, like, to go to the theater, you don't want to go through all the trouble and watch a shitty movie. Like that is the
Yeah.
main issue with this. And there again, we talked about this before. There's not enough selection in the theater, not enough movies. That's why the Revenge of the Sith is doing so well. Guess what? Wait till Jaws comes out. Wait till you see the records when Jaws is released. I think it's got to be soon, right? This month, when Jaws' 50th anniversary.
Yeah.
People are gonna go see that. People are gonna love that. I can't wait. But it's just the way it is now, right?
Yeah,
I
I know that.
with that.
No, you're right. You're right. There's like entertainment has gone through this weird pricing stuff. Like even today, the Brian Adams tickets went on sale today,
Oh, okay.
for instance. And it's like speaking of bad experiences, like, and I was like, I haven't seen Brian Adams since he opened for Loverboy. Hey, this could be it could be fun. So I go like first of all, Ticketmaster. Oh no, Kenton, no, you need to redo your passwords. You need to redo so you're like time's ticking away, right?
Yeah.
Like, fine. I don't even know if I want to go to this concert. I'm like, fine. So I got to go through all that. That takes 15 minutes to get all that sorted. Okay, so done. Double authentication activated. Like, okay, enter all the codes and all that. Then the floor plan comes up and it's like $333 for a single ticket to see Brian Adams. $333. So you're gonna buy them for two people. Like it's almost $1,000. And so you're like, or you can sit way back in the nosebleed seats for, I can't remember, $130 or something.
Oh my God.
I was just like, nah. So I go, nah. Then there's another concert, Pup with Snotty Nose Res Kids. I'm like,
Oh,
that
yeah.
could be it could be fun. I look, no, the main floor of the Burton Cummings is a mosh pit. So like, well, I don't want to be there. So then you check the balcony. Well, that's almost sold out. Like it's all different levels of that. So it's like when you go to a movie, it's all that now.
Yep.
It's all like it's too expensive.
Oh.
I can't find the right seats.
There's a new gimmick, Kenton. Have you heard about laser projection?
Oh yeah, I heard about it. What the hell?
I saw it. I don't know what it is. I saw it on the app, and it's like a new gimmick. This is their new thing that that justifies them charging $20 per movie now because it's a laser projection. So it's like I looked it up. It's basically using lasers, and like a normal projector has a light bulb in it. This is using a laser instead of light to project the image.
And what does it look?
Clear. It'll look just like your 4K TV at home.
So basically, stay home if you
Stay
want to
home,
see a
yes.
laser projection.
Yes. No, that's just.
I know. I don't know what any of the stuff is either when you're booking the movie tickets. I don't know what any of it is.
By the way, I went to see Brian Adams at the Waking Up the Neighbors tour in 1992, I believe.
Yeah.
Birds Hill Park. We destroyed. The people that showed up. It was a big, huge concert. Destroyed Birds Hill Park, whatever that site was.
Right.
They never had a concert there again because of that. It was awesome. It was a full day. It had like Extreme, Steve Miller Band. There's a lot of really good bands that played. And guess what? I didn't pay anything for it. I got to go for free because my friend worked for Ticketmaster. And as a result, he got free tickets to everything. But this is my friend Rod. Shout out to Rod. He went to Lollapalooza that year. So he gave me his tickets to Waking Up the Neighbors.
Pretty good.
And by the way, Lollapalooza was freaking awesome that year, 1992. Look it up. It's
I know.
freaking amazing.
I went to Lollapalooza in '94.
Oh wow, that would have been good too.
Well, it was in theory, on paper, the lineup is fantastic. Actually, there in the burning hot sun, like what did I see? Like I can say I was there for some great bands,
Sure.
but man, it was not the best experience.
Oh, sorry to hear that.
Like outdoor wise, like it was not great. So you never know with Lollapalooza, but that's when Lollapalooza was a tour.
Yes, it would go.
Yeah.
He went to see it in Minneapolis when it was touring.
Yeah.
So anyway, all right. Anything else about Star Wars to talk about today before we wrap up?
I am looking forward to next week's Andor. I liked it, and overall, I guess we should say what we think. But I liked this week's.
Yeah. It's not. I mean, it was confusing, but that's okay. It's fine. It just means that it's a dense story, and there's a lot to kind of take in. And you're right. You're gonna have to watch it again to really get what's going on, which is very common for these kinds of shows.
Yeah, I think it's like The Sopranos. You get more out of it the second time you watch it, and I think there's so much going on, and letting it sink in, and then I think watching it all at the very end is going to be with Rogue One. I think that would be great.
Yeah, I think we should watch Rogue One and then talk about that again afterwards. Maybe we can do that.
Should. Yeah, we got to do it.
Watch it again. I kind of want to watch all the I think Rogue One, and I saw a reference to Solo the other day, and I'm like, I should watch Solo again too. Like those are the movies I really want to come back to. I don't want to come back to The Force Awakens or any of that stuff. I just don't. I have no desire to watch that again.
No, because it didn't pay off. It's weak.
Yeah.
It's a weak. You don't want to watch something with a weak payoff.
Right. You know it doesn't go anywhere at the end, right?
I tried to watch Rise of Skywalker again, and I really had trouble with it. Like it's even more. Its flaws are even worse at home on your TV.
Yeah. Yeah. Ugh.
Because you're just sitting there going, I could be doing anything right now. Like, why do I have to? This is not. And you know what's coming, and
Right.
there's nothing I'm looking forward to in that movie. I'm not like, well, at least there's this scene. It's like, nah, it's all kind of a misfire.
None of those. Yeah. Well, at least there's Babu Frick. I mean, he's a good part of that, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, as a character design and character, I suppose, but even he has nothing to do really.
Oh,
Little puppet comes out to.
funny.
Apparently, C-3PO is easily programmed to
Right. To be
evil,
evil.
be whatever. Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Let's not do all that. Okay, let's wrap it up. So that's going to do it for this episode of the Star Wars Nerds. I'm Dan Vadabonker.
I'm Kenton Larson. Don't let the Force hit you on the ass.
Going into Toshi Station to pick up some power converters.
Now I am the master.
I'm taking an awful risk, Vader.